Hello my friends, how are you doing today? Hope your week's off to a good start. As I'm shooting this, it is a beautiful day here in South Alabama. Sunday morning, I got up. It's just a routine now. I don't do anything. I'm up for about 10 minutes, putting my shorts on, get my shoes on, and I am out the door. Had a nice long walk this morning, came home to a couple of liters of ice cold watermelon juice, have another one in the refrigerator, so life is good. Life is good. I want to talk about today my 6 years on a raw food diet, just some reflections I've been having lately. Anyhow, I do videos every day, so if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button and then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. Yeah, like I'm just kind of having reflections of the month. It's actually, I kind of got into the whole raw food diet thing, the raw vegan lifestyle. It was about the third week actually in June in 2012. Just to give you a little quick replay of my story for people that, might be new to the channel or haven't watched everything I do. I was a drunk for 30 years. I was living in San Jose, Costa Rica at the time that, I came to this lifestyle, started eating a raw food diet, adopted a vegan lifestyle, a vegan way of life. It was in January of that year, so I'll give you just a little bit of background and then I'll get started. It was in January of that year that I stopped my drunkenness of 30 years. I didn't quit. Well, I'll tell you a little bit of the story. I knew I needed to take charge of my health after all that years of drinking. Well, in the beginning, I dried out for a few months, and then around my birthday, I think I didn't have a drop for like 3 months. Then around my birthday, I was starting to research health. I was kind of on my path that was going to lead to the raw vegan stuff. But, I was doing my research and I was starting to just research everything in general. It had nothing to do with plant-based or whatever, but just health in general. And I was stumbling around and I'd read things about antioxidant, things to prevent cancers, things to do this, things for your liver, blah, 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 blah. And I kind of got on this kick of, okay, well, the red wine being good for you, being good for your heart. And at the same time, I was also eating a square of dark chocolate a day. Long story short, though, I did go back. I was having 1 glass of red wine a day from about March until June of that year. And then June was the time I became raw vegan. And from the third week in June, I haven't had a drink of alcohol since. I've been vegan since, except for the first year or so, I still had honey a little bit. I didn't really understand the honey thing. I don't get into the honey thing for the people that want to debate that next level, but it wasn't that big of a deal in my life. So anyhow, here I am. And I've just tried to kind of figure out, listen, I guess the reason I don't take any of this stuff too seriously is because of where I've come from and because the drastic change I've seen. I'm just not going to get into the micro and just always be, yeah, but you're not doing this just right and you're doing this just right, because I was a drunk. I literally crawled out of the gutter. Literally crawled out of the gutter in January of that year. One of the last times I got drunk, it might have been the next to the last time, I stumbled off. I got into a bad neighborhood, no telling what could have happened, and I fell, took a bad fall. My shoulder was messed up for like months. And I remember being in a gutter. A lot of that night was a blackout, but I was pushing myself up out of a gutter. So, yeah. So I just know where I've been. I know how my life is before, and I know how much better it is in contrast now. And that's why I've always just kind of been loose on this lifestyle and just really enjoyed it. I don't take it seriously, and you know what? Even though I've done a channel the channel's about 5 years old. I was about a year into my journey when I started doing the channel. I guess for the last couple or 3 years I've been doing videos every day, but I just like to connect to people. I like to curate information. I like to share information. I like to encourage people. I always like to make it 100% clear. You don't need me or anybody else to thrive on a raw food diet. Let me repeat that again. You don't need me and you don't need anybody else to thrive on a raw food diet. And if I'm irreverent to all your gurus and all your, idols in this raw food thing, it's because I'm very irreverent about myself. I just think that almost everything we need is within us. I think the information is out there. I don't think we necessarily need people. We don't need these personalities for, to thrive on this diet. And in a lot of ways, I think some of the biggest mistakes people make are, just latching on to that one person and becoming a fan. Don't be fans of this lifestyle. Embrace this lifestyle. Do it. Make it yours. Personalize it. I mean, I'm not saying you do take in other information, and it's great to interact with people. It's great to even watch other people, but always know that you're the boss. Always know that you know your body better than anybody else does. And learn how to, like, I did that video on how to do the research. Learn how to control this information. Learn how to filter this information. And don't become dependent on somebody else. You don't need to spend tons of money. You don't need to jump into lots of programs. You have it all within yourself. And you know what? Whether it's YouTubers, educators, people, the loudest person in your Facebook group, or actually even the groups themselves, I've seen them come and go. I've had people tell me, I've seen it. Oh, well, Jack, well, you're just not doing this and blah, blah, blah. And I've had the people that don't say anything, but they're, I'm not part of them, and they're gone. They're gone. People friend me on Facebook a good bit, and I don't throw any shade on anybody, and everybody's on their path, but I love the gung-ho people that have almost like even preached to me in a indirect way before, and then they'll post, I see something posted on their social media, and they're not even plant-based anymore. Some of them were the champions of the cause of the raw food thing, and they're not even plant-based anymore. That's just, let me give you a little general lesson in life. Don't talk a lot of shit, because when you talk a lot of shit, you got to back it up. And when you don't back it up, that stuff can come around to bite you in the ass. And I remember those things. I'm not going to call people out and say, hey, you remember when so-and-so did this? But I see it. And maybe that's part of my evolution. I need to go beyond that. But I have a little smile and satisfaction at their smugness and how they knew everything. This is a fun lifestyle. I mean, if you're not, are you enjoying it? Do you enjoy how you're eating, or is it just going to these things, another diet that you're slugging away with every day? You're struggling, you're joining another group, you need some more support, you do this and that. That's not what this is supposed to be, and that's why this thing I took to it. And I embraced a raw vegan lifestyle immediately, because I didn't have to do that. Like, it was like, the light just went off, and I was like, wait a minute. I can eat as much as I want. There's no restriction. All day, every day, I can eat as much as I want. I don't ever have to be hungry. Just make good choices. So, I mean, that was just like, wow. This is like, what's the catch here? What's the catch? I was always, probably for the first year or so, I was waiting for the catch. What is the catch? And I'm like, nothing. I guess I'm just eating all the time. I maintain a solid weight. I feel good. I have good digestion. I've got tons of energy. So, I mean, what's the catch? Keep it simple. K-I-S-S. Keep it simple, stupid. And that's what I have done most of this time. I just plug along. Where, so like I say, where are they now? The people that have come and gone. I look at it like that old fable, the tortoise and the hare. And you see a lot of them. I love the ones that go shoot out of the starting gates, and it's like, and whether they have a presence on, social media, or a YouTube channel, or they're just the star of the group at the time. They come out of the starting blocks, and they'll even they'll champion. Oh, I went fully, you don't need to transition. I went just like cold turkey overnight, blah, 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 blah. They're gone. They're gone. I mean, there's a graveyard. I've got like a mental graveyard going of like, yeah, I really liked her, but she gone. She gone. She don't even do plant-based anymore. She's babbling some nonsense about why she couldn't do the plant-based. She couldn't do the plant-based because she didn't do the plant-based correctly. She was trying to do some extreme woo-woo version so she could be the star of the group, he or she. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them in that graveyard that, you know, that came out of the starting block strong. This is a marathon. That's the most cliche of them all. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So I think of myself as the tortoise and the hare. I'm still here and I'm still going forward. I'm still going forward. I'm really trying to think, you know, like how much I align and try to be transparent and try to be real about this channel. I'm always talking about constantly going forward, not back and forth and restarting and, oh, I fell off and this and that. I'm trying to be real critical with myself, but over 6 years, I've made some mistakes, I've had some adjustments, but I've just slowly moved forward. There haven't been a whole lot of setbacks. There hasn't been a lot of starting over. In fact, I don't think there's been any. I mean, you know, it's just been okay, 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 and the tortoise may stop, but tortoise never goes backwards. So I've just been going slowly forward, continually progressing, because I knew from day one, something just beamed into my head. I knew from day one that this was the way I was going to eat for the rest of my life. I don't mean exact particulars. I'm going to eat exactly like this much of this much of that, but I knew the plant-based, high in fruit, mostly raw was how I was going to eat for the rest of my life. It made sense. Even in the beginning, it started changing the way that I feel enough to where I'm like, yeah, this is long term. I'll figure it out. There is no hurry. That's the biggest thing that sidetracks people and actually knocks people out of this lifestyle, is they're in a hurry. There is no hurry. For a lot of us, I didn't come to this lifestyle till I was 48 years old. So what is the hurry? You know, I put horrible things into my body for so many years. I mean, unless I had been at a point where I had, you know, cancer was eating my body up, or I had some sort of a, you know, a critical illness that I had to go drastic, I'm like, what's the hurry? I did this you know, I've been doing one way for 48 years, and I just kind of kept progressing, feeling better, feeling stronger every year. Yes, there were, when I say I never went backwards, there were ups and downs. There were times where, okay, well, I don't think I was probably not eating enough of this or not doing enough of this, but each year it gets a little bit, you know, better. And I was trying to think as I was preparing this talk about it's a little bit more subtle. As each year goes by, I'm trying to think about, okay, did you improve, or do you feel better? Was there improvement between year 5 and between year 6? I'm like, yeah, of course there was. But it's so subtle, I can't say, well, I did this and I did this and I did this. I know right now, and this is odd because I love the tropics. I miss Costa Rica with every fiber of my being, but I want to say that right now, at this point in time, I think I have more energy and feel better than I have at any point in my life. I mean, my energy is just, and that'll be a video for another time. I'm starting to get back to actual energy work, kind of on harnessing, using, controlling, circulating energy, because my energy is just off the charts. That's probably why I walk as obsessively as I do these days. It's just like I got to burn it off. And you know, I'm here in this house. I'm getting used to being in this particular house by myself. I've been dealing with stuff, but yeah, my energy is just madness. I mean, madness. So the one thing I'll tell you is, after all this time, and it's never really changed a whole lot, I came to this lifestyle. I would say I was more attracted to the raw food diet, the raw vegan aspect of it. And I know a lot of people say that I came to this lifestyle for the animals, or I came to it for the health. I came to it 100% for the health, because that was the journey that I was on. I was scared to death of what could possibly happen to me, you know, after the consequences of how I live. So my path started, or I actually came to the raw vegan, the plant-based, whatever, because of a health journey, because of a journey I started 6 months before I found this. But it was, but very quickly, and for sure by the time I started this channel, it was the raw vegan aspect of it means very little to me, other than that's what I choose to practice. I do like to spread that message, because I do feel I don't think it's absolutely critical, like to be fully raw, but I do say, I would say almost most people, the higher raw, the better they're going to feel. But it's all about the vegan for me. It's all about that deeper connection. Of course, the connection to the animals, that's always number one, but just the connection to the planet. How I feel, I just feel better as a person. And I'm not judging somebody else saying, oh, I'm better because I'm a vegan as another. That's all I can sum it up in my experience. I just feel better about my place on this planet. I feel like, you know, there was 48 years of just basically debauchery, darkness, nothing that I did really positive for this world. So at least I feel like that's something that's in control of my hands, in my hands. So the path is going to narrow. But that will be another video. It's like in my 6th year, it's kind of time to take a leap to another level, and the path is going to narrow. It means focus is going to hone a little bit more, and it's going to mean practices other than the raw food to complement. Like I said, this is just, the raw food always has been and always will be. It was just a catalyst to clean out the portal, to receive things, to be able to do the real work. So anyhow, I'm going to start babbling if I do that. But to sum it up, the number one reason I don't take this stuff too seriously, I'm not a fanatic about it, I'm pretty lighthearted about it, and I'm always going to present my message like I do, is I just don't really care to, you know, get all deep into it and debate it and whatever, because all I know, and it's the most important thing I can say, is I've felt better, and I've had the best 6 years of my life. At being 54, I can absolutely say the last 6 years of my life have been by far not even close to best. And that, I keep things simple, and that's all it really boils down to for me. So anyhow, hope you can take something from this video. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you tomorrow. And as always, vegan for everything. Link's always down below. I love this shirt. See you guys. Peace.